Hi, good morning. It is Thursday, April 17th, and I've been trying to record this video for a flippin' hour now. It's been a weird morning so far. Sorry for the noise. It is really stinking windy today. So I kind of want to talk about yesterday first before I get into today. Yesterday, did you have any moments yesterday where everything kind of came together, where you had an aha moment about something that is going on, maybe something collectively or something just within your own personal space, where you realized where maybe things have been hidden or been sneaky and things like that, and you kind of just went, oh my gosh, right? Pay attention to that. It was very important. The other thing that was very important yesterday, while thankfully we didn't see any actual events that we know of, what I did notice and what really kind of made me start looking at things sideways yesterday was that our news feeds are all about one subject right now. And yes, it's an important subject, but at what point in this administration so far has there only been one unhinged thing happening at a time, right? And that made me really go, wait a second here. And I noticed there were a couple other little things that were hitting little, maybe a video here or there, or a little blip here and there. And as it turns out, those things are actually kind of scary. I saw two, and I've seen two in particular that really made me go, oh, this is not good. One of those is the whistleblower report that apparently came out. Seems that Rachel Maddow is the only one that's actually reported on this far that I'm seeing. If that one is true, we have officially lost the Cold War, unfortunately. The other one that I saw was a bill that was passed through the House yesterday that is going to the Senate now that strips judges of being able to stop the executive branch for doing anything unconstitutional, or Congress, for that matter, of doing anything unconstitutional. Those are concerning, and the fact that they seem to be so buried in the news cycle is very on point with this current astrology. That Mercury conjunct Neptune tends to dissolve things. Sometimes it hides things. So that we really need to be paying attention to the things that aren't a headline right now, the things that are not actually filling up your news feed. So keep that in mind moving forward. Today the moon is still in Sagittarius, so we are still in information overload. It is still information that is designed to keep you from looking any deeper than what is actually going on. In your personal life, you're likely to come across little petty arguments today, little back and forth type of stuff. A lot of dismissing type of energy when you're trying to talk about something. We have Venus is moving into a sextile with Uranus. It's not exact for another day or two, but this is creating a space where there's opportunity to essentially use the chaos that's happening in the world, the uncertainty, the uncomfortable feeling that everybody has, to make money, to get a relationship, to do anything Venusian, to get things. Excuse me. Whether you're doing that from a place of honesty or otherwise, the potential's there for both of them. We also have Saturn moving into the conjunction with the North Node. This one concerns me a lot. They are officially in the same degree today, but they're not actually exact until Monday. So that is building up. This is gain, which is the North Node, in authoritarianism, in government control. I really kind of want to dismiss what I'm seeing a lot of people try to pass this off as being a gain in karma. Saturn isn't karma when it's direct. Saturn is lessons, but you don't actually figure out if you learned your lesson or not until later on down the road, okay? So keep that in mind. If you see creators out here saying, oh, this is an increase in karma, no, it is not. I wish that were true, but not so much. But the Piscean nature of this as well has that that growth and that gain and like that authority and that government control type of energy hidden in the shadows. It's very quiet. It's happening very under the scenes type of energy there. The other thing about that is, and I talked about this a while back, ultimately this is giving me like the wellness farms, or as I will now be calling them, plantations, because that's what they are. Like the implementation of that, especially since we've been, that subject is starting to come up about the autism and whatnot over the last few days. That's where that's heading, I think. Also, this is it's that kind of religious Christian nationalist stuff that's been building, gaining more control within the government as well. But essentially, we're building up into stuff right now that is not real great, okay? In your personal life, pay attention to people that are authority figures. Are they pulling the wool over your eyes? Are they saying, look over here while I'm doing this over there? Are you getting the feeling that they're not quite being honest with you? Really pay attention to that. Not just authority figures, not just like bosses or whatever, but also people that think they have authority over you. This is going to be very important. We really need to be making sure right now that we are paying attention to where things just don't quite feel right. You've got that little voice in your head telling you something is off, someone's not telling you the whole story, someone's not being honest with you. We really, really need to be paying attention to that right now, because your intuition is on point, okay? So really make sure that you're listening to that inner voice and you're moving accordingly to it. Now, tonight is where things kind of really get a little wonky, a bit spicy. I know I've already seen a lot of people getting a lot more forceful than with their words than usual, with Mercury now being in Aries, and that's going to continue. Tonight, around 10:30 Mountain Time, the moon is going to start making the harsh aspects. It's going to square Venus, Saturn, and the North Node, and make an inconjunct to Uranus. This is going to be where we're seeing the conflict between what's kind of under the surface, what is it that you're not quite saying, type of thing, versus what's the truth, right? It's also a conflict between what information you're getting, what are you learning, versus what your intuition is telling you as well. This is where we need to be careful, because this is where conspiracy theories are born. This is where we try to make sense of what we're seeing when you don't have the whole story, right? And that's where we can kind of start making some shit up in our mind and getting off the rails, because really be careful with that. But around that same time, we also have Mars entering Leo. And finally, I am exhausted. I'm so tired of Mars being in Cancer. But because it's been in Cancer for so long, and we had that retrograde in Cancer, and all of this like emotional frustration and anger that's been being built up, that as it's ready to go, like it's volcano type of energy. So seeing when Mars moves into Leo, boom, everybody's going to want to do something. Everybody's going to want to take action. Everybody is going to want to get loud. Leo can obviously be dramatic, right? Mars likes being in fire signs, obviously, but in Leo, it can get very over the top. So we need to be careful. We need to pay attention to making sure that we're tempering ourselves, because that's a lot of fire energy in the sky here. That is going to be Neptune, the Sun, Mars, Mercury, and the Moon tonight until tomorrow morning. All in fire energy, and that can get very explosive after that fire energy has been held back so much. Also, the Sun being ruled by Mars and Mars being ruled by the Sun, that mutual reception is really going to kick up a lot of energy and a lot of spiciness, okay? So later tonight and tomorrow, we're going to get into that really spicy energy. We're really going to start seeing things pop off and start seeing things happen and reactions happening, okay? I'm going to go ahead and pull you guys' cards because I've already talked entirely too long. This energy's got me a little right now. What does the collective, can't think. What's the energy for the collective today? Hold on. All right, let's try that again. I don't know why I can't hold this deck today. What is the energy for today? Little Lover's energy. I actually kind of like this. Lover's card is the Gemini card, right? So it's about your relationships and whatnot because it's the Lover's card, but it's really about communication. It's about sharing. It's about there being two, right? You can't be selfish within the Lover's energy. So having the conversations today might be really important. Again, watch out for like the bickering and whatnot and like the petty stuff and really pay attention to what's being said. But it is a good day for conversation with the moon in Sagittarius being ruled by Jupiter in Gemini. So if there's conversations coming up, absolutely be having those conversations. It is a day, I think everybody's got so much going on right now. Everybody is just like they're wanting to talk about it. They're wanting to get things off their chest. They've got so much they want to say. And maybe it's just time to have conversations, right? So that's your energy. There's a lot to say, a lot of conversations, wanting to reach out to people type of energy today. What to focus on today? Does the collective need to focus on? 5 of Cups. What are you still looking at that maybe you have regrets about? What else do you want to say? Is there something else? With Mars being in that last little bit, when we're in the last few hours of Mars in Cancer, there might still be some things from the past, some emotional stuff that's in your head that maybe you really just want to get off your chest, right? Remember, Mars is ruling Mercury right now. So this is, maybe there's some things you want to reach out to somebody, you want to talk through something. Maybe there's some things that are really just kind of, it feels like it's emotionally holding you back and it's keeping you from moving forward. So really think about that today. If that feeling's coming up, why is that feeling coming up? Is there something you need to say to somebody? Is there an apology? Is there a question? With Venus is in its post-retrograde time. So despite the fact that we've gotten through that review, we may still have some like lingering things that we're wanting to deal with here before it gets through the post-retrograde time. So really today, I'm gonna be honest with you. So this is the Uranus and Neptune, like I said, is really, or Uranus and Neptune, Uranus and Taurus, really shaking things up. It's making things very uncomfortable, right? Nobody wants to be alone when they're uncomfortable, right? And there's going to be a desire to kind of reach out to something that is comfortable, something that you already know. And maybe during this retrograde time, you've thought some things through and you want to get some things off your chest. That's just kind of the energy today. You don't necessarily have to do that, but ask yourself, like, focus on, why are these thoughts still coming up? Why are these regrets still coming up? What is it that you still need to work through? Okay. We really want to make sure that we are in a good place before things really start popping off in the world. Okay. What to avoid today? 9 of Wands. Don't be so guarded. Let the guard down. Have the conversations if you need to have the conversations. Say what you're truly feeling. Be honest. Sometimes you just gotta do it. Sometimes you just have to say the things, even if you don't want to face them. It's the only way to get through them, is to actually talk about them, get them off your chest. So bottom of the deck, we have the Empress, right? This is actually really interesting. This is the Venus card. Venus is exalted in Pisces, right? So it is a good time to actually have conversations with other people, as long as you are being honest and you are being open and you're not dismissing them. You're having real, true conversations here. Don't be like my dumbass and wait until you're drunk to make the phone call, okay? Because those are not good conversations. But if you need to talk to somebody, talk to somebody. If you've got to get things off your chest, do that. Don't be guarded. Don't shut things down. Don't dismiss things. We've got to get ourselves in a healed space before things really hit the fan out there, okay? Clarifiers for the Lovers card. Oop. We have a Knight of Pentacles. That is that slow-moving energy, and the Eight of Pentacles. Did you do a lot of work on yourself during these retrogrades? Did you get yourself to a little bit better place? Did you really kind of find like a grounded space? Maybe that's why you're feeling the need to talk to other people. Maybe you're really trying to do better. I know I personally, these retrogrades really hit me hard because they're all very prominent planets in my natal chart. And I got through a lot of stuff. I am a different person now, you know. I've made a couple of mistakes the last couple of weeks, but we all do that, okay? But yeah, have you done a lot of work? Are you ready to move a little slower and have more important conversations and work through things with other people as well? As I know I pointed out the other day, oh, look at that, Three of Swords on the bottom. A lot of people are starting to come around, and maybe you had fallouts with folks over the last few years. Maybe they're wanting to have some conversations. Be open to the conversations. Don't shut people down. If they need to say something, listen, have that empathy, have that compassion, okay? Five of Cups here. We have a Page of Pentacles. And it's a lot of pentacles, by the way. It's actually very grounded energy. I really like that. And a Two of Wands. Like I was saying, done a lot of work on yourself during these retrogrades, and you've learned a lot of things, and you're ready to take those things that you've learned and move forward with them. But maybe you're like, it's almost like reaching out, like moving backwards in order to move forward, right? So focusing on those regrets from the past and what you've learned from them and how you can move forward with them, right? Now, that doesn't necessarily mean reaching out to somebody from the past. Maybe it's just knowing that you have learned and you're in a better place and you can move forward now. But it could go either way. It's all dependent on you, right? Nine of Wands. Clarifiers for our Nine of Wands. Oh my goodness, I need to sneeze. Excuse me. Nine of Wands. Maybe. We have Death and Rebirth. If you always have your guard up, you'll never make that transformation, okay? You got to let the guard down to let the healing actually work. You know, I keep saying, yeah, I've done a lot of stuff. I've dug into a lot of my past. I've gone through a lot of things in my head. I've gotten into a better headspace, right? But how do I know if I've actually healed if I don't go back out in the world, right? Sometimes you got to let that guard down. You got to let people back in. Being guarded is not being healed, even if you're in a better headspace. Death and Rebirth in the Tower, right? You got to let the transformation happen. You got to let the guard down. Sometimes you got to let the tower happen. We have to let the tower fall to be able to rebuild here. And if that means letting your guard down and maybe even hearing things you don't want to hear, right? Hearing about yourself sometimes. Sometimes we need to, okay? Let it down, have the conversation, hear what you need to hear, realize that you've done a lot of work, and it's time to put that work into play. Again, Three of Swords, again. So the underlying energy here is there's a heartache, there is pain. This could be family members, this could be friends, this could be relationships, partnerships. There's a lot of things this could be here because a lot of people have lost a lot of people over the last several years, and I think we're going to start seeing folks coming back together here with a new mindset. But make sure to trust in your intuition doing that as well, okay? So let the guard down, have the conversation, understand you did some healing work, and now it's time to find out, you know, how to move forward being on the other side of the healing.